Ayo, what up? It's your girl Bewitched Faun, coming in with episode 19 of Faun's Horror Corner, a series where I watch a random horror movie on Tubi and we talk about it. This week I watched Strangeland from 1998, directed by John Pye Plow. The description Tubi gave us was, Captain Howdy surfs the internet for prey, and girls begin to disappear. When his daughter vanishes, a detective takes a personal stake in the case. Now, full disclosure, I have seen this before, and I enjoy this fucked up movie I'm about to show you. Some warnings are ahead, however. This movie contains the topic of SA as well as has some flashing lights and has scenes depicting torture, so viewer discretion is advised. With that out of the way, let's get into the movie. We begin with the old-ass internet, and someone entering a chat room. It's Genevieve, and she scored a guy, so her friend comes over. She's chatting with Captain Howdy, and wants to IM her, so he does just that. Tiana is sketched out by this random guy, but Jen is chilling and pulls up his info. He's a cool dude, and these two want to party with him. Hell yeah, her friend can come. By the way, Genevieve is played by Linda Cardinelli. She is only the best fucking Velma ever in the original live-action Scooby movies. Now we see crime scene photos. Mike is being summoned by his wife Tony. She mentions that Genevieve never came home last night, but she stayed at Tiana's, so it's chill. Now there's a phone call. Tiana's mom called, and she isn't home either. Now we see this house. All is not well though. Genevieve is being held captive by this guy with sharp teeth, and he's sewn her mouth shut. Mike is at work struggling with a vending machine, understandably frustrated by the lack of progress in finding his daughter. He's at home now, and both parents are struggling. The doorbell rings, and these two are visiting. Steve is beefing with the tech people in the meantime. Angela visits her uncle and asks if he's gone online. He hasn't, and she tells him about the wonders of the internet and how she's chat with some killer guys. She tells him that she's met some guys online and says that Genevieve has as well. Flash forward, a car was noticed in this lake and Mike and Steve are overseeing it getting pulled out. It gets towed out of the water and the two investigate. It's Tiana's car. They open the trunk and it's not good. Tiana's corpse is inside. Something else is in the trunk. This guy steps in. It's a septum spike and it's fucking huge. This guy has an 8-gauge septum, so the one they found is notably giant. I started out with an 18-gauge septum and I sized it up to 16 so I could have cool septum rings. I have no intentions of going any bigger than that. This guy talks about the body modification world. Back then it was a bit taboo. We've come far. He tells them to check out Zibalba, a club for body mod people. And now we see the community. These two arrive and go inside. And they are very out of place, but damn, the music fucking slaps. They decide to leave because there's no way to pinpoint their guy in this crowd. They walk out, but we pan to the other side of this wall, where Captain Howdy is suspended from the ceiling by hooks. He gets pulled down and he's big fucking mad because he's not dead. He was crossing the abyss. Mike is at work looking at a body mod magazine and his boss is judging. He tells Mike that Tiana was dead 72 hours before she was found. A series of symmetric puncture wounds were found all over her body, but what killed her was cardiac arrest. She was tortured to death. Mike summons his niece Angela to the precinct because he doesn't understand computers. So she tells him what to type, but a call comes in. It's the tech people. They have a list of people Genevieve chatted with. Most importantly, the last person she chatted with, Captain Howdy. Angela hops on the computer and searches for Captain Howdy, and she's found him in teen chat. They join and find him there. Over to the House of Horrors. Captain Howdy noticed Raves R Us has joined the chat, and he's looking them up and looks at their profile. The group is doing the same, and take note of his interests. Angela changes the interests to match Captain Howdy's, and he noticed that change. Now the group is attempting to bait Captain Howdy, and a conversation ensues. He invites the group to a party. We see the police ambush take place, and Captain Howdy wants to pierce this guy's peener, but the police are approaching. They enter the house and move upstairs. They bust through a door and it's just this old couple getting their bone on. The police got pranked. Mike is very fucked up about it, to say the least. Mike is sitting in his car in whatever neighborhood this is, and he hops on his little laptop and gets a message from Captain Howdy and replies. An audio message is sent and they go back and forth a bit, but in the last one, Mike notices something. The same dog that's been barking was barking in Captain Howdy's message, which means he's next door. Mike leaves his car and goes up to the house, but no response, and the windows are blacked out. He goes around back and finds a trash bag, and it's full of needles. He busts open the basement lock, and we're in now, boys. It's the creepiest goddamn basement my eyes have laid eyes on. Except that's a lie because my own basement and my grandparents' basement is the stuff of nightmares, but I digress. Mike makes his way through and enters the true House of Horrors. I can't show much, but it's definitely fucked up. Ultimately, he finds his daughter and starts trying to release her, but there's movement behind him, and Genevieve can't warn him. Mike gets clocked locked, and now we get our first good look at Captain Howdy and all of his unusual glory. Mike and Howdy start fighting, and Mike gets the gun and shoots him in the leg and holds Howdy down in place, then proceeds to handcuff him. But he whips around and starts acting sus, and says he's never been afraid of anything his whole life, because he wishes he was dead. Therefore, he has nothing to fear. Mike gets Genevieve out, and the House of Horrors is front page news. This is my time to step in now that we've gotten a good look at Captain Howdy, to tell you guys that his actor is motherfucking Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, an absolute legend, and this movie is full of his songs. Howdy took the insanity plea and was found not guilty due to reason of insanity. Flash forward, and now he's Carlton Hendricks, and he's a new and changed man. Today is his day of release, and he really likes reading. He's anxious about it, and Sam warns him about the unruly group waiting for him. Carlton returns home, and it's been ravaged. Genevieve has a nightmare about Captain Howdy, and Mike comforts her. An angry mob is waiting outside Carlton's house, and the news is already on it. This guy steps out to speak for Carlton, and this guy ain't having any of it, who of course is the horror icon Robert Englund. I could name so many things he's been in, but that would take ages. But he is also a whole-ass legend, and I absolutely adore him as Freddy Krueger. Carlton steps out and decides to speak for himself. He apologizes, and this lady steps up and tears him a new one. He retreats inside, and Jackson is cooking up something nasty. He questions where his girl's daughter is. He assumes she's boinking a football player, but she's not concerned. But the news comes on and reminds him of Carlton, who is also watching the news. Jackson gets stirred up thinking that Carlton has Kelly instead. He demands the phone and calls his buds, telling them that Carlton has Kelly and plans a meetup. Now we see Kelly getting her bone on with that football player. Carlton's house got broken into, and Jackson and his goons are beating him the fuck up. Jackson tells the group they're taking a drive. Mike sees them take Carlton away, medication no longer in his grasp, and Mike does nothing but watch them take him away. On the outskirts of town, they hang a noose up and take Carlton to it. His parting words are, "Death is like an old friend," and then they hang him and they all watch. No longer moving, the storm has rolled in and the mob takes their leave. The storm knocks this branch loose, and Carlton breathes life once more. Captain Howdy has entered the chat. It's a new day now, and the town is peaceful. Jackson is in his undies watching an adult film. I'm sorry to say this, but his undies look like a diaper, and I just can't unsee it. He calls for Madeline, and she replies, but something breaks shortly after. Music comes on, and Madeline arrives, doing a funky little dance, and Jackson joins in. But he's tired now, and he wants to boink. She moves closer, and he notices something is wrong. Captain Howdy appears and knocks Jackson out. Mike is at work now. He gets a message from Captain Howdy. He's being taunted by him. A call comes in, and it's Howdy, so Mike gets the phone. He taunts Mike more, and they go back and forth. He mentions a new flock that needs a spiritual awakening, then he hangs up. We get a scene where Jackson and the lady from the news are getting tortured by Howdy. Mike gets a call from Tony. She's at her mom's place. She asks if Genevieve is home. Mike says she's at school, but the school said she left yesterday because her dad called. That's a big uh-oh. They both return home, and Captain Howdy is on screen and being cheeky as usual. He asks Genevieve. Tony asks, why Genevieve? Howdy says she didn't do anything, but Mike didn't tell his wife something. And we see Genevieve on camera. He goes on a tangent, and Mike begs for Genevieve's release, but it ain't happening, and Howdy ends the call. Mike is not feeling bonita right now. These two cops are investigating a disturbance. They exit the elevator and request backup and keep moving, and they find the new House of Horrors. The cops request an ambulance, and we flash forward to the rescue of the captors. Mike finds matches from Zibalba, and there's a note inside for him from Howdy. Mike goes to Zibalba and calls for Howdy, who is lurking somewhere. They go back and forth a bit, and Steve arrives at Zibalba as well. Mike puts his gun down and roasts Howdy a bit. He didn't like that one. Now there's a showdown between the two. Steve is trying to find a way in. The fight continues, and Howdy is choking him, now lowering a hook down, but Mike is awake and Howdy holds him in place to hook him. Mike rips a piercing out and frees himself. Howdy is following as Mike scrambles away, picks him, and grabs the hook, and now Howdy is hooked and being raised up, just swinging around and talking his shit and taunting Mike. He grabs this oil and dumps it on Howdy and lights the matches up, tosses it onto Howdy, and now he's a swinging fireball, lighting this whole place up and feeling true pain. Eventually he stops moving, and Steve comes in to pull Mike out. Mike accepts that killing Howdy was his choice, and now he's going to see his family. And that's it. That's the movie. Let's get into my afterthoughts. It's been a while since I last watched this movie, but it was still a good watch. In a fucked up way, of course. But even amidst the torture scenes, there is an actual message Dee Snider is portraying in this movie. People are judged for the way they look. A bad man can look like your next door neighbor, and a good man will be treated like shit for having a few tattoos or piercings and not fitting into the norm. I adore Dee Snider and everything he stands for, but I won't rant more. Let's get into my talking points. What did you think of the story? The various twists and turns this movie takes is pretty fucking awesome, and in my opinion are done really well. Captain Howdy's evolution throughout the movie I felt was done insanely well, and him turning back into Howdy at the end really did have an impact. All in all, I loved everything about the story. What about the ending? I think the ending is very fitting. I mean, the fight between Howdy and Mike was cool to watch. The pops of color in that final scene really got me. I loved it. Ultimately, I think Howdy's reign of terror ending the way it did was perfect. He truly felt fear and pain, and he faced the death that he so craved. Overall thoughts? Only praise here. The writing was phenomenal. The acting was fucking good. The evolution of various characters were so well executed. I mean, everything was just solid to me. Favorite kill? Captain fucking Howdy. What a goddamn way to go. It was an impactful death and visually stunning. Best and worst character? This is actually so hard because there was such a cast of different characters throughout this. Best I think goes to Mike. That man went through every length possible to bring his daughter home and try to keep his family safe. I mean, he even learned how to use the internet. Worst character was Jackson. I mean, things could have been chill, but he summoned the mob and he brought Captain Howdy back to the surface. As for the tier list, you can probably guess that this is up top. I love this movie, and the writing and visuals were so good, and it's just such a unique story with a distinct and complicated, in-depth villain. And with the Character Hall of Fame, no one has really made it. Captain Howdy was cool, but I'm not putting a guy who essays people on this list, so that ain't happening. Well, that's all I got. Thank you for watching if you're still here. I upload these every Saturday around 12 p.m. Eastern, as long as life doesn't get in the way. So if you enjoy, then feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. Do what you want. I can't tell you what to do. My socials are down below, as well as the link to the movie so you can watch it yourself and form your own thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you think if you decide to watch it. Next week, we will cover a new random horror movie and see where that takes us. Thank you one more time for watching. Stay safe and spooky, y'all.